Righty-ho. Marvel's Avengers on the Xbox One X. Breakdown review. And just like always, we will follow the same structure that we do with every other review that we do. It's the same structure and we hit all the same points. Plus, I have a huge amount of notes to go through. Haven't written the score down, but I already have a score in my mind itself. We put 26.5 hours into the gameplay itself, but this is a live service game, which means they are chucking down updates more and more. They're chucking down extra content. So this review is based on the content that we've got today. This wasn't a day one review because I was doing other reviews at the time, and this was also a gifted review. So a massive thanks to JD for gifting the review, because if he didn't gift it, I probably wouldn't have done it. Pure and simple. But Marvel Avengers on the Xbox One X, it is a 60 gig installation file. Digital price, you're looking at around £60. I got my physical copy for around £43. Collector's edition is £210. But you do get a nice statue with it. So I don't know how much of a hardcore fan you guys are, but if you are super hardcore and you love Avengers with all of your might, all of your passion is all there, then you may want to look into the collector's edition before they get discontinued, because I'm pretty sure they only made a couple a quantity of units and then they'll probably stop making them. So again, it's based on how much passion you have around Marvel itself and whether or not you want the statue is completely up to you. So, the very first thing that we look at when we do our reviews is choice of music used. Why? Because music, in my opinion, makes or breaks video games. It's as simple as that. You could have a very bad game with an amazing soundtrack that will actually keep it entertaining to play. And vice versa, you could have a really epic game with a shitty soundtrack that just kills the experience. So did Marvel Avengers have a good soundtrack playing throughout the game itself, throughout the story, when you do your submissions and online? And I have to say, yes, I thought the soundtrack was fantastic. It really kept me, and it was definitely a superhero type soundtrack. It worked very, very well for the game itself. It fit really well. It didn't feel out of place or unwanted. It didn't do too much repetition on the side missions itself. So right now, with the 26.5 hours that I put into the game, I can't fault anything soundtrack wise. So good job on that. Move aside. Now we talk about the audio effects within the game itself. Now, I played with all the heroes. I made that a priority, but it'll be pretty biased if I only stuck to a few heroes and ignored the rest. But the game encourages you to use them all. It encourages you to use them in training grounds as well. But I also made it a priority to utilize them all a little bit more than that before I settled down with my favorites. I'm a Thor guy. When it comes to Marvel heroes, I'm a Thor guy. Villains is a different story. And Thor was very entertaining to play. Hulk was my second favorite to use as well. And Hulk was just so incredibly destructive. It was fantastic. The explosions that were happening in the game, I had smiles on my face a lot of the time playing this game because the destruction that I was causing was epic. But there are a lot of audio issues in this game in terms of audio disappearing, explosions not creating sounds, combat noises disappearing as well. There were stutters as in some of the noise effects within the game that we noticed on day 2 of our playthroughs as well. So there are definitely audio issues within the game that need combing over. I don't know if it's because the game can't keep up with everything that's going on, but that doesn't mean that the audio just goes blank. that just killed it quite a lot of the times, and it's something that they definitely need to patch, something that they need to fix, comb over, find the cause of what's causing the audio effects in the game to mute, fix it, patch it, move on. Voice acting within the game, I'm not. I mean, it's obvious that you're not going to get the key stars, the real Avenger Marvel actors, to do the voice acting of their own characters. But with the voice actors that they had doing the roles, I was fine with it. Completely fine with it. It worked. They all had their own unique voice actors. Iron Man was exactly like he is in the movies itself. Very sarcastic, very witty. Thor was almighty, godlike, and he praised himself and praised the team a lot. Black Widow, she was. I could go on, but pretty much I had no issues with the voice actors, with who they chose to do the voice acting for. They all stuck to their characters very, very, very well. Even Hulk, when he was talking, it fit, it worked, it didn't bother me whatsoever, even though he was pretty much just pissed off. The majority of the game, he was very upset. But that's Hulk, Banner was great, very professional, very defensive, very scientist-like. But yeah. The only thing that I have to complain about in terms of audio throughout the whole game is the fact that during combat, a lot of the audio disappears, and it's something that they need to comb over and patch for sure. Graphics. I'm going to talk for a long one on this one. Graphics. Here we go. Yes, the graphics did look good. I'm gonna hit that nail on the head first of all. Yes, when the graphics was working, yes, they looked good. Skin textures, armor textures, the effects, the lighting effects, some of it looked absolutely amazing, especially some of the Thor lightning flare and the bolt attacks would look so good. So in terms of visual stimulation, visual pleasure, visual excitement, you see it all. You see explosions going everywhere. You get the fire effects, the gamma poison effects. You get the lightning, the ice effects. It all the phasing purple effects as well. It looked really good. It looked really, really, really good. Weather effects, irrelevant. Not irrelevant, but not really present. So there weren't anything weather effects to really spot out, like rain, thunder, lightning and stuff like that. It wasn't over. It was, majority of the game was played on a dry day for them, I guess. Character model design. Now here is where we spotlight a lot of the issues. In terms of the character models, a lot of them were buggy as hell. And I mean really, really frightening buggy. Where we had characters missing body parts. We had characters with their arms stuck in the wall. We had NPCs flickering in a spot and just vibrating aggressively in one corner because they're stuck on the texture. This game has a lot of visual character bugs. And from the experience some of the feedback I was hearing before I started this review, there were a lot of people complaining about how buggy the character textures were. Some involving eyeballs bulging out of heads, or hair disappearing and just pure black because it didn't load it in whatsoever. So in terms of quality of the character model designs, yes, the characters looked good when they worked. But in terms of glitches and bugs, very present, very visual, and something that they need to spend a hell of a lot more time working on. If you want my honest opinion, I felt that this game was pushed out too quick with the amount of visual bugs that we witnessed through our gameplay, and with the amount of people that came into chat saying that the game was unplayable for them or they couldn't do certain things because it was buggy and glitchy as hell. And that is a real kick to the review. That is a major letdown. Because I get that it is a live service game where you're going to constantly keep rolling out these patches and these updates. But the initial product product with, imagine if a person's playing the game but they don't play anything online wise, or they don't have online. They're going to witness all of that, all the bugs and all those issues on a base one product, day one launch product, and it's just not going to be good enough at all for them. And to the point where some people say the game's unplayable. You can't forgive something like that. You can't. That's just not good at all. Gameplay and mechanics. The gameplay, it was simple. It was very simplified gameplay. Light attacks, heavy attacks, and then you've got your 3 ultras that you can trigger when they're charged up. I didn't find it difficult at all to play this game. I don't think anyone will find it difficult to play this game. The tutorial was very simplified, very basic, very easy to manage, and they give you a lot of tutorial training modes as well. So if you ever find it too difficult, you can redo those missions, or you can do them over and over until you master it. So in terms of the gameplay, it worked for what you could do. It wasn't super broken. Some of the climbing gameplay mechanics were a bit bleh. I got stuck a few times, but mechanics wise, some of it worked, some of it was broken. I didn't really care too much for the fly mechanics. They were simplified, of course, but there were a lot of you're out of bounds when you're flying around with Thor and you're flying around with Iron Man. And, you know, you're in combat, but you're trying to get a good angle by flying around them. And then the game's like, you're out of bounds, you know, get back to combat. Oh, I hate that shit. I hate stuff like that. It annoys the hell out of me. Especially when you're trying to flee to go heal up. And the game's like, no, you're out of bounds. You can't do that. Get back into the fight. Oh. So, in terms of mechanics, 50-50 split. 50% of it I was happy with, 50% of it I just was not happy with. Climbing being one of them. It was very janky and very weird. It's just they need to comb the game more. They really do. They need to polish it a lot more than what it is right now. This game came out, we're on the 8th of October now. What was can I get someone in chat to quickly do a initial date for the Avengers, please, while we talk? Replayability is definitely there because it's a live service game. The game is rolling down updates a lot of the time, so you're going to get more missions, you're going to get refreshed missions as well. So there is a lot of replayability once you get the story done. We will talk about the story, spoiler free of course, September 4th. So the game's been out for over a month and it is still as buggy as it is. That's ridiculous. That's the whole freaking month and they still haven't polished it out enough. Thank you guys. So replayability is definitely there. I don't like the mapping system that they use at all. I think the map system is garbage. I don't like how missions don't appear until you reach a certain power level. That's a terrible freaking idea as well, because you have no idea that there are extra missions to do, but you can't get to those missions until they appear on the mapping system, and it's so dumb. I think they should have all the main missions, all the story missions, everything on the map present but faded out, and then once you get to that level it glows, so then you can do the mission when you're ready to. I don't like the fact that they hide it. I think that's a dumb system. It's really, really dumb. Game difficulty, I play all my reviews on normal difficulty because I think that's the best way to do the review. You do it on normal mode because that's the average difficulty that the majority of people play. Unless they find gaming in general just too difficult and they prefer an easy mode, then that's absolutely fine. But I've done it on normal. Did I find the game too difficult? No. We did a few missions over again because I got knocked down or killed. But when redoing them, cleared it second time, no problem at all. I highly doubt you could ever get through a game like this and just be all perfect through start to finish. And some of the NPCs, you know, the NPCs that run around with you can be challenging. Some of them stand still and don't do bugger all half the time. Some of them don't even chase down the enemies. Some of them glue themselves to you and don't spread out. There's so much work that needs to be done with the NPCs as well. I do not like the fact that a lot of the enemy NPCs target mainly you, because you could be running around and all of a sudden get hit by about 6 or 7 blast attacks out of nowhere, even though all your team is engaging with them. And I've had gameplay where I was shot by a few enemies that were all getting punched and kicked by my team, but they wanted to focus on me. It's just the aggro system is bad, like really, really, really bad. So there's NPC work that also needs to be done and combed over, because the AI intelligence is just not there. I've had enemies stand still and not move. I've had flying enemies just hover, not doing anything. I've even had big tanks frozen in spot, and they weren't doing anything at all. And they allow me to kill them, and they weren't even doing anything. It's just a big shame, you know? Something like this should never really happen, ever, within a game like this, but it unfortunately does. Any game customization, there's a lot of custom options in this game. There is a lot of customization options as well in terms of cosmetics. But one thing that really, really, really ruins the game for me is that each character has about 4 or 5 items, unique items like gloves, chest piece, or for the Hulk, he's got his nerve system in his hand or his spine and stuff like that. The game does a loot tier system. Loot box, loot crate, loot tier system. Very similar to games like Destiny, very similar to games like Borderlands, all color-coded gear as well. Like greens being common, blues being rare, purples being very rare, gold, epics, and stuff like that. And what's shit about that sort of a system for this game is that you would equip, let's say you've got all blues, and you'd find a purple or a gold. You're like, oh my god, I found a purple or gold. You equip it. It does not visually change the look of your character in any way, shape, or form. There are no visual changes in any upgrades that you put on your character. None whatsoever. Even though you get new cores for Iron Man, shields, or grips around Thor's hammer, none of that is a cosmetic change within the game. It's just stats only. That stupid idea. Really terrible idea. If you deal with a loot system like that, it should be used in the same sense like Borderlands does it, where, you know, you pick up a green pistol, it looks like a green pistol, you know, it's a basic pistol, it hasn't got anything fancy. You pick up a gold gun or a purple gun, it's got fancy coloring, fancy add-ons to it, extra stuff on it, and it just looks fancier. That would have been a much, much better system. In my honest opinion, that would have been a much better system. They allow you to unlock cosmetics the more you use your character, and the more of the daily and weekly stuff that you do as well. You earn credits towards your character, so you can then unlock more cosmetics to actually change your, so it's skin colors. For example, Hulk had a black skin Hulk, red skin Hulk, grey skin Hulk, and stuff like that. But they were very basic and very unappealing. Don't get me wrong, some characters had some really epic gold skins that you could buy off the marketplace for about £12, which is a joke. This sort of a thing doesn't belong in games, and it really, really shows the greed in companies. Pretty much all of the gold cosmetics that you could get for your team were £12 each for a skin. That's it. For example, Iron Man could have had a blue and grey coloured outfit. Blue and grey instead of red and gold. £12 for that. In what sense of a world is that okay? It's greed. So super greedy. They should have done it where you unlock way more cosmetics by playing the game and keep playing it over and over. The more you play, the more you get. But no, they had to be quite greedy in this. They really did. They had to be quite greedy. Of the 26.5 hours that I put into the game, of all the materials and the crafting stuff that I got, I could have gotten a few skins. Just a few of them. But if I wanted any of the gold stuff, any of the stuff that looks really appealing, £12 plus. If I wanted some of the emotes, £12 plus. If I wanted, you know, just a gesture, just a hi gesture for Hulk, or something like that, or bouncing the ball on Thor's hammer. £8. £8 for a gesture. It's ridiculous. If it was £1 or £2, I wouldn't really be complaining. I think that's fair. But when you try to go out of your way to, I wouldn't say con, but that is pretty much the word I'd like to use. Con the people that have bought your game for £12 for a cosmetic. You're not looking at it right. You're not at all. You're not looking at it right, and I'm very, very disappointed on that aspect. I really am. I'm very that when I saw it in the marketplace, I almost lost my shit on stream. But you know what? We had to do the review. I wanted to do it professionally, but I am disgusted at the level of cosmetics that are locked behind paywalls. Very, very disgusted. Very. Stats building. This game is pretty much an RPG. It's an action RPG with the Marvel crew. There is so much stats you need to look into, and it's something that even they themselves boast over. You know, they say that you can bump into an online character whose character will be completely different from everyone else's. There's not that many stats to really take the difference apart from each other or tell the difference between. They're just stats. It's not all that whoopie-dooness, but this game does heavily rely on those stats and your armor stuff. So you do have to make sure that you're wearing or you have upgraded what you're using, because certain missions are very, very high tier in terms of required power. And you may get your face smashed in by the enemy super quickly if you're just not at the right power level. You can do it under-leveled if you want to, but it does obviously make the game harder for you and your team. So just be careful with it. It is heavily stats done, so just be very, very, very careful. Story, if applicable. Now, it's already been on the adverts. The game's already been out for a while, so you guys would have probably already seen the villain itself, who is MODOK. I'm not going to tell you exactly how the game plays out because I'm keeping it spoiler-free. But I have seen MODOK in trailers itself on TV and on YouTube. And if you want my honest opinion, I loved him as a villain. I really did. I loved watching MODOK do his thing. He was a great villain for me. I enjoyed it. But Taskmaster that was in the game, Abomination, you know, that's it. That's my reaction from that. That's it. This game needed way more villains in it. And I don't mean, just chuck in one or two more. No. You should have chucked in a lot more. Each character within the game should have had a nemesis put in for them. So Captain America should have had a Hydra boss put in the game. Iron Man should have had one maybe from the movies. Maybe, is it Whiplash? I think his name's Whiplash with the 2 electric whips. Black Widow could have had an iconic villain in the game. Thor, could have had a few iconic badasses in the game itself. It's just this game lacked the variety of villains. It really did. It just had the key one and just a few, budget. Like discounted. 20% off. But I enjoyed the story. I'm not going to lie. It kept me entertained. I played it through start to finish. I have to. It's a review. But it would have been nice to have I'm not going to say a few more. I wanted a lot of villains, man. I wanted a lot. I wanted to see their cheesy iconicness within the game. A lot as well. I want them in cutscenes. I don't care. But what they had, it was a basic amount of villains. And the key villain, MODOK, I thought he was fantastic. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it a lot. I did. I had a great amount of fun. But the story does rip off X-Men Days of Future Past with the Sentinels and stuff. I mean, it rips it off like really badly. Like really badly. So, that's the negative of the story for me. Everything else I'm all right with, but the fact that they ripped off X-Men, that when I saw it, I was like, nah, they didn't. No, they didn't. Yeah, they fucking did. Yeah, they fucking did. They ripped off X-Men. This is like, what did you run out of fucking ideas? Were you sitting around your board table and you was like, we just don't know what more to do with this game. Ah, fuck it, we'll just copy X-Men. And they completely copied them. You'll know it when you play it. You'll see it as well, and you'll be like, nah, I shouldn't have done that. They could have done anything else, but no, they chose to copy that. And that there is something that killed it for me. I mean, the boss fights were great. They were over the top. And I had fun playing it. It's just that when I saw the moment happen, and I was like, they're not going down that route, are they? Yeah, they're going down that route. Okay, well, they've kind of killed it for me now. Online co-op modes, features, and stability. We did a lot of online. The game allows you to play offline if you want to. You can just disable the online and offline feature. And if you play it offline, you can play it on your own if you want to, or taking your companions, your teams with you that are AI controlled. But because it had online, I had to test that out as a part of the review. I couldn't just leave that behind. And when players were joining me, I didn't see any connection issues. I didn't see any stuttering, any freezing. I didn't see any bugs or anything like that. It worked. But I have a massive complaint about the online. Something that I really hate is that if the online players force their way through the story, even though you want to do all the side missions, you can't stop them. Not even... What's worse is it will force teleport you to them as they're forcing their way through the story of the mission so quickly. I can't hate that any more than I do right now. It angered me so much when players did that I stopped playing online a lot of the time for that reason alone. I thought it was a stupid idea that they did that. There should be a kicking system. There should be a confirming system. Do you want to continue? Do you want to push through this story? Yes or no? No, I don't want to push through right now because I'm trying to do these side missions. I'm trying to free these helpless civilians. I'm trying to save my friends, or I'm trying to find this special loot that's around the map. But if online players are like, nah, man, I'm just here to go from A to B super fast. It's going to take me 2 minutes and I'll be like in and out. It will ruin your experience. Completely kill it. Even when I went online to play other people's missions to help them out, I went around and done the side missions to help them out. Nope, I'm just going to run through it and just do main mission. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care about any loot. I don't care about saving people. Sod it all. And that kills online completely for me. Completely. I have no interest in doing online now because you can't stop them from doing that. And that is the biggest buzzkill. You can't stop them. So if you want to enjoy the story, don't go online. Do not, unless you are playing with a friend you can trust, that you're in party chat with, that you can talk with, and decide together what you plan on doing. Just do not play it online if you want to do 100%. Because you're going to have a nasty experience. Unless you don't care about any of the side stuff, then, do what you want. Purchase price versus digital pricing and value of content. So, with the 26.5 hours that I played, would I value this game at a £60 digital pricing? Simple answer, no. For the physical, for £43, would I say value of content is there for £43? Slightly. But it's still missing way too much. Way too much in my opinion. £210 for the statue. I'm telling you right now, the statue needs to be made of fucking gold. or I don't know, platinum, steel, or I don't know, not plastic for £210, because that's very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. So overall, do I feel value of content? And this is a month after launch as well, guys. Do I feel value of content is there? No. I feel there are too many heroes missing in this game. There are too many villains missing from this game. There are too many specialized missions for the characters in the game itself. The cosmetics are the majority of them are all locked behind paywalls or locked behind high tier crafting requirements. They made it so it's like if you want it, you have to grind it. We want you to grind the shit out of this game until it turns to dust. That's what they expect you to do. And I have no vibe to touch this game after the review. And that kills a lot of the game for me. I'm not gonna lie, it kills a lot. The lack of heroes is something that really hurts this game, in my opinion. Only 6 Marvel. You get the license to make a Marvel Avengers game, and you can only do 6 characters as a main thing. Do you know how many Marvel heroes there are, and you only choose 6? I know, again, I get it. I'm probably going to get comments down below. Well, but Attic, it's a live game, man. They're going to roll down extra stuff. They're going to roll down extra heroes. You've got Spider-Man that's on PlayStation only that may come to Xbox one day. You know, you may get Hawkeye, you know. And they should have been there on day one. There should have been a big cast on day one. Doctor Strange. I fucking love Doctor Strange. Why not him? Why not? And then you could have done a Doctor Strange bad guy in the game as well and have his own exclusive missions. And it's just a, you know, it's a big kick in the nuts for me. So, there are microtransactions for currency buying and all that shit, but if I go into that, I'm going to start getting angry. I'm going to start getting angry. So, what we're going to do, we're going to go through the notes, just in case there's something that I've missed in my breakdown. We've already talked about color-coded loot. Oh, the loading times between missions. Oh. I've had a few missions time out. Because it took so long to get into them. I think it crashed. The mission or crashed the server. But on Xbox, I can only talk for Xbox. I don't know if it's the same for any other console. But for Xbox, on the Xbox One X, this game was painful during the loadings. Sometimes it would be not bad, 10 seconds, but sometimes it would be so much longer than that, and you're sitting there twiddling your fucking thumbs hoping to get it over and done with, and then you may get in, or like me, I got 2 timeouts. 2 in 26.5 hours. That's not bad, but timeouts, I can't believe it. Iconic missions for certain character heroes, I enjoyed that. There was no minimap system when you were actually in the mission, and I think that's a missing feature that should not have been a thing. I think they should have had a minimap to not only display where all the side missions are on that mission that you're doing, but it also helps for navigation as well. It does, because some of the areas are open areas, so you get to run around. But I would have liked a mini-map. I would have, because it would have definitely helped showcase where all the side missions are, so I can prioritize, and even a pinging system, so I can tell people online, hey, I'm going over there. You know, that may even help them understand that you want to do the side missions too. You know, a pinging system would have been nice. Enemies bugged behind and in walls. I've already spoken about that, but we did have enemies stuck behind a massive thick steel wall that the game didn't load in, and we had to I had to basically use blast waves to damage them because they were stuck behind the wall and they wouldn't come out. Uses the same same story arc as X-Men. We've already spoken about that. We had one game lock crash. So basically the game just froze, the audio went and done all that horrible shit noise, and then it booted me to the Xbox dashboard, but that only happened once. Loading times are far too long for missions. At times, green loot can be better than purples and even gold loot. I don't know why that's a thing, but yeah, it happened. Story was great, but needed more villains. We've already spoken about that. Loved the soundtrack. Missions that we've already spoken about that. Player forcing to do story. We've already spoken about that. Yeah, pretty much I've covered absolutely everything that I've written down in better detail as well, which is great. So all it really boils down to now is, would I recommend this game and what rating would I give it? If you want my honest opinion, I don't think this game's ready. I don't think it's got enough content. I just think it needs more work. I really do. So if you want my honest opinion, I would wait. I really would. I would wait. Unless you're going to play it with friends and have a lot of fun with it, with friends, then maybe think about it. But if you want my honest opinion, I think the game is not polished enough. I don't think it's not ready. I think it's missing so much stuff. And I think because they turned it into a live service game, it gave them the excuse of delaying shit within the game. So you get the pretty much bare basics, and then they can chuck extra stuff at you at a hefty price. You know, I don't know. You want Doctor Strange? $20. You want Ant-Man? $20. You want Hawkeye? $20. We don't know if they're going to charge for that crap. They probably will do, because they charge for blue and silver armor, 12 quid for Iron Man. I would personally wait. My opinion, personally wait. In terms of scoring, the reason I'm going to give it what I'm going to give it is because I had fun with it. I had fun playing through the game itself. Yes, there was a lot of problems. Yes, there were a lot of bugs. Yes, there were. I would have loved to play as Black Panther. Thanks for that, Super Day. I would love to play. Oh. But I have to be honest with you guys, and I have to be honest with the review. With the amount of issues that we spoke about, with the amount of paywalls that they've chucked at us as well, it's too much. So, yes, I had a lot of fun playing as Hulk, smashing everything up. Yes, I had a lot of fun playing with Thor, smashing shit up and lightning strike everything. And I liked Miss Marvel. I did. I liked her story. She was cute. She was adorable. And there was emotion in it. And I liked that. There could have been more, but there was emotion in it. So, with that all in mind, I'm happy scoring this Marvel Avengers 6 out of 10. Yeah. 6 out of 10. And that's just because I did have fun. I did. Despite all the issues. But that is the end of the review. That is just my opinion. Please bear that in mind. And thank you very much for watching. If you did like the YouTube video, like, comment all down below. Put your thoughts, just talk down below, and I will join in. And if you do want to catch my live streams, they will be over on Twitch. I'll put all the links down in the description of the video. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your support. And I look forward to doing the next review. Take care.